This is the latest member of the Mazda family. It's the 2020 Mazda CX-30. They've already got the CX-5 and they've already got the CX-3, but that's a very compact crossover built on the old Mazda 2 platform. It's almost as if someone said, you know what? We got to get the Mazda 3 hatch and make that into a crossover. Ta-da! Let me show you the differences and where this fits in the Mazda lineup. And please hit subscribe and the notification bell so you can catch all our reviews as soon as they come out. And that's pretty much exactly what it is. It's a Mazda 3 hatch, or the Sport as it's known in Canada, that has been lifted. So on the outside, you get a lot of plastic cladding over the wheel arches, along the bottom of the doors and everything. Totally fine, but you're getting 2.5 inches more ground clearance on this, and it's about 5 inches higher than the Mazda 3 hatch as well. So definitely in the crossover world, but it still retains some of those striking good looks from that Mazda 3 hatch. It's good to see that that has been transferred across. Same width, 2 inches shorter, this one somehow. Sleek and bold is their design motto with this one, and Mazda says that it's aimed at single people or married people who are looking to start a family, so perfect fodder for family wheels. And why is it not called the CX-4? Great question. Apparently it's reasonably complicated, but the short answer is there's already a CX-4 which is made specifically for the Chinese market, so they didn't want to tamper with that, I guess, so it's the CX-30. I think that this is what the CX-3 should have been in the first place, something a bit bigger and not what the CX-3 is, which is on the old Mazda 2 platform. But you're still getting a lot of the great stuff that Mazda goes for. So you're getting a premium interior, you're getting a driver-focused experience, but what you do trade off in most Mazdas is a little bit of interior space. You even get exactly the same engine options as the Mazda 3 hatch. So you've got two options in Canada. From base, you've got 2-litre 4-cylinder putting out 155 horsepower and 150 pound-feet of torque. That's only available in the bottom trim. Everything after that, the 2.5-litre naturally aspirated 186 horsepower 4-cylinder, which is in this, and 186 pound-feet of torque. That's the standard engine in the US. You only get one choice. But this one, the top one, this is the top trim, the GT. This has cylinder deactivation, which helps with some fuel economy. It's the Skyactiv G engine from Mazda, and it also comes with the Skyactiv 6-speed automatic transmission, pretty standard kit from Mazda as well. But the Mazda 3 hatch for 2021 is actually going to get another engine option, which will be the 2.5-litre turbocharged engine, which is in a bunch of other Mazda models, and that'll put out 250 horsepower. That's awesome. You can couple that with some all-wheel drive as well. You can choose front-wheel drive or all-wheel drive throughout the range of this in the States. In Canada, you can choose it for the first two trims, and then the top trim comes standard with the iActive all-wheel drive system. You're getting an extra drive mode on the CX-30. You've got off-road traction assist. There's a button for it down here. You've only got one other driving mode, which is sport or off. You do get a slightly scaled back interior on this, anything really below the CX-5 and the Mazda 6. It is still wonderful interiors. I wish that every other brand could have this level interior for this price point. It's something that Mazda does great. You don't have the signature trim option on the CX-30 or the Mazda 3 hatch, but still, I mean, as a GT, beautiful leather seats, superior comfort, very well appointed, quality finishings. It is really their strong point. So are there any differences on the CX-30 versus the hatch in the second row? Let's have a look. Not a lot, unfortunately, which is a bit disappointing considering that this was one of the downfalls of the Mazda 3 hatch. Your specifications back here are virtually identical. You've got 38 inches of second row headroom. It's because they've carved out this channel across here. This dips down just to fit this sunroof in. You've got just over 36 inches of second row leg room, 4 inches less than the Mazda CX-5. 4 inches, that's enormous. This is set to where I sit, and I'm 6 feet tall. They've had to carve out the back of the seats to get a bit more room in here. You can't fault the comfort of these seats. These are beautiful seats with wonderful finishings. It's called pure white, and only the gamest of game would-be parents would ever have children and have a white leather interior. But that's up to you. You've got climate control at the back, and with that leg room, it's a bit tight. I'm going to say very tight with our rear-facing kid seat test. So the front passenger, my knees were on the glove box with the rear-facing kid seat test, so pretty tight. When the kids are front-facing, they've got a bit of room. It's not too bad. It's doable. Now, one other thing with the Mazda 3 hatch was the fact that it was very dark. It felt very cramped in here because this C-pillar was so wide to sort of complement those nice, sharp, handsome looks on the outside. But in this one, they've given you an extra window on the C-pillar here to let in a bit more light and just to make it feel a bit more spacious, and it is effective. So it's a bit tight, but the finishings are nice and doable if you want a compact crossover for the city. Let's check out how the trunk performs though. It's virtually identical to the hatch, which I find interesting given this is 5 inches higher, but it's about 2.5 inches more ground clearance. I thought they might have squeezed a bit more, but 20 cubic feet of cargo space, or 572 litres. The hatch has got 569, so tiny little bit more. It still passes our standardized test. A stroller, 2 bags of groceries, camera gear and a soccer ball. It handles it pretty good. If you take this out, it's going to handle it even better. But interestingly, if you want to compare it to the CX-5, that has 50% more cargo space. That has 30 cubic feet, or well over 800 litres of cargo space. So a bit of a difference, but this actually handles things reasonably well. Let's see how it drives. It drives exactly like you'd expect a Mazda would. Smooth, quiet, comfortable, in fact, incredibly quiet. They've done a great job, just like they did with that hatch, of really minimizing cabin noise when you're driving about. They've got the double-walled floor on it. They've also kept holes in the chassis to an absolute minimum too. Even bigger holes where you might have speakers in the doors and everything, that's not there on this. So it's noticeably quiet, especially for a car of this price point. Now, you've only got a smaller engine, so you're not hearing too much of that, and this engine just hums away, does its job. Wonderful engine around town. You might be left lacking a little bit with that entry-level option in Canada, the 155 horsepower, if you are someone who's taking highways a little bit more. Overtaking, on-ramps, it doesn't have a lot of guts to it. This one's okay. I doubt they're going to give us the turbo in the CX-30, which they're putting in the hatch for 2021, but this is not a performance car by any stretch. You've even got sport, and you've got paddle shifts. You've even got a sequential shift here. To be honest, I haven't even bothered using it because it's just a nice point and shoot, straightforward car for about town, and it's really quite hard to come up with some complaints about it because it does everything really, really well. You got stinking good gas mileage on it, so like 9.5 for the city and about 7.4 litres per 100 for the highway. And you've always got that very driver focused experience that Mazda will give you. So the seating position, nice steering wheel, you've got the G-Vectoring Control Plus, which does an excellent job. This also has Mazda's iActive Sense safety suite. So you've got radar cruise with stop and go, pedestrian detection, high beam control, forward obstruction warning, lane departure and lane keeping assist. You got the rear parking sensors, and on this one you've also got the head-up display, and a pretty good list of kit for this price point too. So if I grab my cheat sheet here for just a second, because there's a lot of them. So on this car, you've got heated front seats, which are standard. I've got a heated steering wheel, leather trimmed upholstery, obviously, the 10-way power driver adjustable seat. The passenger seat at the front is all manual. You have rain sensing wipers, the full LED exterior lighting, the Bose premium sound system with 12 speakers, power liftgate, that's only on the top trim on the GT in Canada, and I've got the power moonroof as well. Great list of features for it. And price-wise, the GX in Canada with front-wheel drive, so entry point with the 2-litre, $23,950, and up to the GT all-wheel drive, which is this one, $33,850. This one has just one extra on it, $200 for the polymetal grey metallic, so this is $36,000, including your on-road costs. In the US, starts at $21,900, all-wheel drive optional on each model, that'll cost you $1,400, and the top trim will cost you $29,600. The infotainment system on the Mazdas is really good. So you've got your wheel down here with all your different options. It's not touch screen up there. Apple CarPlay, Android Auto is standard. You've got a nice crisp reverse camera. You don't have 360-degree view. I think there's enough room on it to be able to split the screen, but you've just got another one which sort of gives you sensors and tells you where there's a few dangers you might be reversing into. Interior storage for a car this size, they've done pretty good as well. Door bins are good. This is really nice size and well organized, but it's kind of like you can't lift it up. You actually have to pull it, slide it, then lift, and you've got lots of room in there. That's actually where you plug in as well. You've got USB and a USB at the front, but then you can't just push forward. You have to click it and go forward. That's a little bit finicky, but it is what it is. I wouldn't usually bother with an acceleration test on a car like this, but we're here, so we might as well. So I'm going to pop it into Sport, which is the only other driving mode apart from your off-road traction assist. I'll pop it over to sequential shift. We're in manual first, and yeah, it's just a runabout. Man spread test is not as good as you might expect. It's very important, the man spread test, but I don't have full spreadable capacity. So how do you think this goes against its competitors? You might be looking at the Subaru Crosstrek, the Mitsubishi RVR, maybe even the Nissan Rogue Sport in the US, the Jeep Renegade. I think it was a smart move filling that gap between the CX-3 and the CX-5. Maybe even they'll end up calling this one the actual CX-3, and then the other one the CX. It's just too confusing. Too confusing. But hopefully you found this review useful. If you did, leave a comment, give it a like, and subscribe to the channel because we put out brand new reviews every single week. Until next time, from Family Wheels, I'm Kai.